Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
We are not allowed to touch Social Security. The work that I have specifically been doing, I am on the Judiciary Committee.
So, dudes, I want to talk about why I think the Republicans are going to get shellacked in the 2026 midterms. Prior to Donald Trump's 2024 win in the general election, a policy proposal list called Project 2025 started making the rounds. It was so egregious in its scope and breadth of policy proposals that advocated for the destruction of the administrative state, including social welfare programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, that Trump supporters assumed that it was an astroturfing campaign from the Democrats and that it was completely made up and Trump wasn't actually going to do any of those things. Well, as it turns out, what Trump said he was going to do or not do and what's actually happening are not the same thing. As it stands, the Social Security Administration is rolling out some changes that would require participants to go to a Social Security office in person if they were to do things like verify their identity or change their bank account information. I want you to take a look at the kind of person who would benefit from Social Security, and you tell me if you think it's a good idea for them to have to drive all the way to the office in order to fill out that kind of information.
Office at a time when its workforce is being cut down. The agency's looking to cut around 7,000 employees. Even some offices could be closed as part of the White House's efforts to shrink the government.
What it ultimately comes down to is that a lot of people on Social Security are people who worked construction jobs, who worked on oil rigs, who worked on their feet every day delivering mail. These are people who are not in the physical capacity to be going to field offices that might not even be in their jurisdiction as a result of these cuts. And a lot of people, millions of people, are going to be disenfranchised from Social Security payments as a result of this change. And that goes against what Trump and Elon and this congresswoman in Wyoming are telling their own constituents when they say that we're not going to touch Social Security, and then they go and do this. That is lying. They have lied to you, to their constituency. There's no counter argument. There's no debate there. They said they weren't gonna do something, and now they're doing it anyway, because they think that their constituency is either too stupid or too unaware to hold them accountable for it. Except, that's not what's happening.
Plans to cut these programs and the people who administer them, coupled with the tariffs, will decimate Wyoming farms and rural communities. What are you doing about that?
I disagree.
This town hall happens to be in the famously communist, Democrat-leaning bastion of leftist lunacy in Laramie, Wyoming, famous for its appearance in black and white cowboy TV shows, famously woke place, population of 34,000 in blood red Wyoming. Just how red is Wyoming compared to old Laramie? Let's show you. There's Laramie. This is Wyoming. Interesting. I wonder why these blue districts are so much bigger and more blue than old Laramie down here. I wonder what's going on. I wonder how much money the Democrats spent to bus Marxist lunatics into this town hall meeting in Laramie, Wyoming, population 34,000 people. Here's Senator Chuck Grassley in the famously woke, famously Marxist state of Iowa, the first American state to roll back a civil protection for a protected class in American history. No, I'm not making that up.
Many of the questions focused on the work of
It happened about a month ago.
the new Department of Government Efficiency and Elon Musk's impact on shrinking the size of the government.
I want to make it very clear that Musk has no power.
I mean, how many people here do you think are on Social Security? How many of them do you think voted for Kamala Harris in this blood red district? I'll tell you straight up, as a matter of statistics, and I'm not saying this to be to be an asshole. I'm not saying this to judge these people or say, look at this person, I bet they voted for Trump. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as a matter of social science, of data collection, in this district, the chances of people in this room voting for Donald Trump are much, much, much higher than voting for Kamala Harris. And they're pissed. They are angry, rightfully angry about what's going on, because Donald Trump and Elon Musk, when they were on the campaign trail, said publicly that they're not going to go after programs like Social Security. And now they are. So what does that mean? It means they fucking lied. Here's another town hall in famously woke Marxist Nebraska.
Sure. Why is Elon Musk a better person to audit our government for waste, fraud, and abuse than the inspectors general that Donald Trump fired?
I support Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency.
That didn't sound like someone wanting to answer my question.
Here's the deal. Not all of these town halls are in red places. Sometimes they're in red states, in blue cities, because these guys evidently think that it's the best way to get people to come by. I'm not sure. Maybe they should all go to a public library in their small town. Some of them are doing that. Some of them are not. Here's Rich McCormick, congressional 7th district in Georgia, which is decidedly red, is his constituency. Roswell is decidedly blue. Are the Democrats using George Soros to fund pissed off blues to come in here and shout down Rich McCormick? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I'm willing to bet there are a lot more Republicans in this room than people are admitting.
Taking their spouse's last name will not be eligible to vote. I want you to look me in the eye and tell me why you are trying to take away my right to vote.
And he's like, that sounds crazy. I would never do that.
So if you're saying this bill is going to take away 69 million people's right to vote, I disagree.
Every single news outlet, Fox, CNN,
Woke Fox.
Every news outlet that is reporting on this are saying that it is going to make it incredibly difficult for any woman who has a married last name to vote. It is a voter suppression law that you signed on as a sponsor of, and I want to know why you're scared for me to vote.
It would make it difficult for trans people to vote as well, because if they get their name legally changed, somebody can look at that and say, oh, there's a mismatch. Oh, there's a mismatch with the birth certificate and the ID. I'm sorry, we can't help you. Right? And then they'll say, oh, gee, what an inconvenience. Aw, shucks. Well, that one got through the cracks. Oh, man. Right? And there's going to be no accountability.
I'm definitely not scared of you, vote.
You should be scared of losing your congressional seat.
If you'll let me talk, I think you'll see that we were just down at an IT conference and a bipartisan approach to voter ID. Now, they actually have digital ID that we can do in the future that's going to solve a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. And this is a Democrat. Wait, no, this is a Democrat. I'm going to tell you what a Democrat solution is that I agree with, if you'll allow me. If it's a bipartisan issue or not. Do we want to come to a conclusion where we can agree and move on? Or do you just want to yell at me and call me names?
So what's the solution, bro? What are you saying?
If you want to do that, I can just stand back here and you can just yell at me. But if you want to solve this problem,
you can just kick my ass. You can just keep yelling at me. I'm trying to solve the problem. I'm just trying to have a conversation. Then say it. No one is stopping you. Did anybody interrupt him? Did the people back here try to interrupt him when he was talking about the bipartisan solution to waste, fraud, and abuse?
we can actually give I'll just sit back here and just let you yell at me if you like.
I'm just gonna sit out. Like, people could watch this video and then say, Gwen, you're not giving this person, the benefit of a doubt. You let this woman talk about her stance on this bill and you cut it off and you didn't even get him a chance to speak. I did.
No, McCormick, I hear what you're saying about a digital solution,
come up with a solution,
but
guys.
the SAVE Act that you are sponsoring requires...
She's pressuring him to talk about the bill, address the content, address the substance of what this person is saying, conduct a conversation in which you don't deviate from the topic. We're grown adults here, okay? Like, we're not stupid. We can tell when somebody is bullshitting us or not, for the most part. Sometimes we can't. But when it ultimately comes down to it, the reason that these guys hammer down the whole waste, fraud, and abuse talking point is so that they can cloak their ultimate goal of privatizing the administrative state into this vacuous, weird, like, oh, we're not really going to come after you. We love you. We would never take your things away. This is all just a big misunderstanding. And the reason that they have to do this is because their states are the ones who, proportionally speaking, get the most amount of money in terms of federal subsidies. Not communist California, not socialist New York, not Marxist New England. It's Texas, it's Louisiana, it's Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, it's the Bible Belt, it's Montana, it's red states. Red states are by far the ones who get the proportional bulk of the federal subsidy budget when it comes to education, food, federal aid. That is the crux of the situation. They know that if people smell through their bullshit, that they're going to get voted out in 2026. And I think that the fact that these guys haven't reined in Elon enough publicly, the fact that Elon is going around, he's sending his heart out to everyone. I'm not going to fucking do that, what he did. But the fact that these people are so public and so flippant with what they want to do, and they're saying it online, and this shit is going viral. That clip that I showed you of Elon saying that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme is going viral. The bulk of the situation comes down to that a lot of Trump voters think when you tell them at the bar or at the grocery store or at your public library that guy said this, guy is going to do this, they'll say, he didn't say that. You're making that up. He would never do that. And then they go and fucking do it. And then they say that they're going to do it before they do it. And then after they do it, they say, I didn't do that. 538, Trump approval, March 17th, 2025. Disapprove, disapprove, disapprove. Aggregated, this is like a -5 or -10 point approval rating. And it hasn't even been a year. He's already underwater and it hasn't even been a year. Because people found out very quickly that they got bullshitted. And I think that in 2026, that debt's going to get paid.